Hello there, it's Mike again. Welcome to our next video showing you how to create your website with WebWave. This time I'll talk about our editor's slightly more advanced features. So this will be a little bit more extensive material where we'll add interactions and animations to our website. These interactions will be used to show or hide elements when clicking or scrolling on the page, enrich them with animations, making our website more modern and attractive. So let's get started. We will be adding our advanced interactions, effects, and animations to this website. It has been built by using one of our pre-made templates, and as you can see, it already looks very good. However, we still going to add few advanced things so it looks even better. What's going to be very important is this layers panel. We're going to spend some time and do some work here, renaming elements, also clicking on them from this level and grouping them together to make it easier to move them around and find our way around as well. As you could see, you can move our layers panel anywhere you want by drag and dropping it anywhere. So for now, we're just gonna leave it there. And we're going to begin with a pop-up that will be displayed when you click on a button, and after you click on the cross icon, so close window button, the window will close. And we're gonna start with a visual version of it. So we're gonna add a shape, resize it a bit, and move it down to the middle of our website. That will be a base for our window. Now we're gonna change its color to this light one, and I'm gonna add some text. I'm gonna change the text for some lorem ipsum, then resize the text box, also center the text, and move it a bit. Okay. Now let's add our close window or X button. To do this we could use a button element, however we're going to make our own one by adjusting one of the icons from our icon bank. So I'm gonna use one of these icons, change its color, and now move it to the right corner, so where usually all the enclosed window buttons are. And remember that you can always resize your elements by clicking here in settings panel and type in precise values if you need them. I think we're gonna make our button a little bit smaller and align it properly. Now we have to create a group of elements for our pop-up window. So let's select all of our elements. You can do so by holding down Ctrl key or dragging a box across all the items. And finally, you can select them in our layers panel. Then just click this icon to group them together. You can also use Ctrl+G hotkey. And what's really important now is that when we create in our website in the editor, we have to create it as it should look by default when you enter it in the published version. So we have to hide this pop-up of ours. So here in the layers group, we've got this eye icon. So if we deselect it, our pop-up is now hidden. But don't worry, it didn't disappear, it's just hidden. And now we have to find a way for our visitor to display this pop-up. So we're gonna create a button. I'm gonna add a button, but we're going to rename our pop-up group first. So you can just double click here and rename it to pop-up. Cool. Now I will edit this button so it would look a little bit different, so it will match the colors of our website. Normal state and a little bit lighter on hover. Okay. I'm also going to change the text inside to more info. Now we have to select our button, go to click action, select show or hide objects from the list. Show elements, select elements, pop up. Okay. So now if we preview our website and then click on our button, the pop-up will appear. However, we can see that there's something wrong here, and mainly that the button is on top of our pop-up and we have to change it. So let's go back to our editor, and now in the layers panel we have to move our pop-up to the top so it's on top of everything. And now let's go back to the preview and check if it worked. Then, as you can see, our pop-up is being displayed properly. However, the X button doesn't work, so let's fix it. Go back. Now go to layers panel, select our icon, and we're gonna choose click action link, select action, show or hide objects, hide elements, select. We're gonna select our pop-up window, and now this should cause our window to close after you click on X. So now we also going to add an animation on show. So let's go to show hide effects again, animation on show. We're going to select expand in, and the same for animation on hide. Cool. Now let's save it and let's see the preview to check if it worked. And here it is, and let's see if we'll be able to close it. Cool. And now, as you can see, we were able to easily fix it, and that was the example of our first interaction on our website. Now let's move on to something that's a little bit trickier, and that's gonna be an interactive price list. First, I'm going to add a pre-made one from the compositions menu under price and tables. Here it is. Now let's move it down a little bit, and we're gonna make some space by pushing the other element down, and this one. And let's move it up a little bit so it looks more even. Now I'm going to make a few adjustments to the middle menu so it looks more like the other ones. And the middle one is going to be our main option, and I will show you what I mean in a second. Just remove a few lines. Okay. Now it looks more or less the same. And now, as we're gonna add a few buttons, I'm gonna move these prices down to make a little bit more space. And now let's add set buttons. Okay, now I'm going to change their color so they match our website a little bit better. Now let's make 2 copies, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Now let's space them out properly. I'm gonna change the text inside our buttons. Now the other one. And the last one. Okay, now we got our renaming done. It's time to select their action. So I'm gonna go to show action, show or hide objects, select elements, and we're gonna click on left to show only our left element, then hide elements from the next list, and then right and the middle. So it's going to hide other options after you click on the button. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with the second one and the third one. So after you click on each button, it's going to show only its option from the price list. And the right button now. Show or hide objects. Show the right one. And hide the other ones. Okay, now we got it. Let's save. And let's check if it works. So, if I click the right one, it's going to show the right one, the middle one, and the left one. So, as you can see, it all works, but we can make it even better. So, what I'm going to do is I will move the other options to the middle. So, only one is displayed at the time, and it's displayed only in one place. Then we're gonna hide the left one and the right one, so only the middle one stays visible for now. And now we've got only this one available, and it's gonna be useful if we'd like to present only one option first. Let's go to our preview, and as you can see, it all works. But let's go back to our editor, because we can make it even better by adding some animations. As you can see, you can select the elements easily in the layers panel and then turn on the animations on show and on hide. I'm going to go with fade in and fade out. I think they're gonna look the best here. Now we're gonna do the same for the other columns. So the middle one. And the right one. So again, animation on show, fade in, hide, fade out. Cool. Now let's see the updated version of our price list. And now you can see that it works better because it looks better with all added animations. Now it's time to show you our next advanced feature, which is the possibility of adding menu when scrolling. So what is that menu when scrolling thing? It is a menu that remains fixed to the top of your website when you scroll down on it. This way your visitors will have the access to your website's subpages at all times. So it's very useful for navigating. Let's go to shared elements and I'll show you how to add it. First, select the whole menu. Now you can just use Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to copy paste it. Then Ctrl+G or this icon to group them. And now when it's selected, we're gonna rename it to menu 2. We also have to make sure that it's placed right at the top of our website. Now we're going to adjust our menu slightly. First, I'm going to change its color so it matches our footer. We can also change our buttons color. And just as an example, we're gonna also replace our image for different logo. I'm gonna type in watch in our icon bank and I'll select this one because, well, I like this one. I'm gonna change its color so it matches our website. Click OK and select. Now let's move it and resize it. And as we just added a new element to our menu, we also need to move this element to our group in layers panel. So we can just drag and drop it here and it's added to our group. Now I think it moved a little bit, so we have to make sure that it's placed right at the top. And to make sure that it stays at the top when scrolling, you have to click here to turn our option on and then select on top when scrolling from the list. Now we gotta turn on other option, which will be show hide effects, and make sure that you've got pro mode on. Then show hide after scroll. Now to make it look even nicer, let's add animations on show and on hide. And we're gonna leave the default settings on because they're gonna look nice in this case. I also forgot to change page scroll value to more than 0. If you leave it at 0, the menu will be visible at all times. And we want it to be visible only after a certain scroll value. Now let's go to preview and let's see if it works. Now, if I scroll down, our menu should appear. And it does. It should also hide automatically when you reach the top of your website. And it does as well. As this is a shared element, it should appear on all subpages. So you can see that it's present here. And it all works. Now let's go back to our editor. Okay, now it's time to show you yet another very useful interaction, which will be expand collapse element. It can be used to increase visibility on your website, as well as activate your user and, well, give them the options whether they want to see something or not. We're gonna create this interaction on our About Us page. So let's start with creating some space for us. You can do so by holding this icon and dragging it down. Now we gotta add a button that will expand collapse our element, or show or hide it. I'm gonna make it slightly larger. Well, maybe not that large. Now we're gonna change its color so it matches our website a little bit better. And now we can also change the color on hover. Cool, now it looks much better. Okay, so now I'm going to add a shape that will serve as a background for our new field, our new expandable element. And we also going to change its color so it matches the button. Now we can add some sample text. Then resize it and place it properly. Now I'm gonna copy some lorem ipsum. Maybe we're gonna change its font color so it looks a little bit better, a little bit more visible. And now I'm going to add an image. I'll select one of the preloaded ones. I'll go with this one. And let's resize it. Another cool thing is that you can crop or frame the image how you want in image settings in settings panel. Cool. Now we're gonna select all the items and group them together. So first select them by dragging a box across. Then you can press Ctrl+G or just click this icon to group them together. And now they're in the same group. We're gonna change its name to pushing element. It's because, well, this will be the element that will push all the elements below it. We're gonna also move our button to the top because otherwise it's gonna be hidden behind our newly created section. Now let's assign an action to our button. Click action link, show or hide elements or objects. Now show elements, toggle elements visibility. And now we're gonna select our pushing group. Okay, so now let's check our prototype in the preview. And as you can see, our button shows or hides our element, but what we wanted to do is to expand or collapse it. So we've got this white space, isn't very aesthetically pleasing, so we have to go back to our editor and find a way to fix it. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to hide our pushing group for now, and we're gonna fill this space somehow. So what I'm going to do is I'll create another group and rename it to a group that's been pushed, something like that. So being pushed off. And now I'm going to move it a bit closer to the top so it doesn't get stuck somewhere. Okay, cool. So now I think we're gonna switch the visibility back on, only because we have to position this thing well. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is that we need this element, so we're clicking this button to push the one below it. So after it expands, it should push the other one, and we're gonna do it by clicking bound objects. So first select our group, click edit binds, then do exactly what they say in this window. So you have to click this plus icon to add relation between these two elements. And now the bottom group can't move above the other one. So it's gonna stay in the relation you will set, and within a certain pixel value, and it will be pushed off so it can keep this value. And now I just noticed that I set the layers order incorrectly. So naturally our template should be on top of everything. So I'm going to drag and drop template right to the top. And now it should look all good. But let's go back to the meat of the matter and let's switch the visibility off for now. And let's move our bottom group up. So we're gonna remove that nasty white space. And now let's check if it works. Let's go to our preview and let's click on our button. And as you can see, our group expands and pushes the one below it down. Cool, let's go back and let's make it look even nicer. Let's go to the layers panel, select push and group, and then animations on show. I'm gonna select reveal and ease out. Now we're gonna quickly check our preview, and as you can see, it looks much better. However, I'm still gonna change our animation on hide, because I think it's too quick. I'm gonna adjust its settings so it looks a bit better. Now let's see our preview quickly. And here it is, our expandable collapsible element. Let's go back to our editor. And now there's one more very important thing I'd like to tell you, which is you have to remember that when making links, you have to do so from top to bottom hierarchically, linking the first element to the second to third, etc. Now it's time to show you the last two quick solutions that you can implement on your website. So the first one I'm going to show you is called Ken Burns effect. You can apply it to your images to make them look like they're animated. Ken Burns effect is achieved by a slow moving magnification of the object, and therefore it kinda sets the image in motion. So to apply it, just click here and yeah, it's done. As you can see, it's probably one of the easiest effects to turn on in WebWave. However, it really does make a difference, doesn't it? Just gonna leave it on for a while so we can see it in action before we move on. Cool. Now it's time for one of our last advanced features I wanted to show you today, and this is dynamic elements position. As an example, we're gonna use two icons that we will want to be right at the left edge of our website, and we would like them to be there when we scroll the page. So that's gonna be similar as for our menu. So as we scroll the page, they're gonna stay in this place. So let's start with adding 2 icons. Let's choose Facebook. Change its color. Let's place it here. Resize it slightly. Now let's add another icon. Instagram maybe. I'm gonna also change the color and move it to the left. Now let's match the size of our icons. And we're gonna align them nicely. Okay, so now if we'd like these 2 icons to follow us while scrolling down the page, we have to turn fixed element on. And we're gonna talk about dynamic position in a second. But now you can see that similarly to our menu, these 2 icons now stay with us. And although everything looks good now, and it seems that our work is finished, it really isn't, because if we move the canvas, these icons don't follow the edge and might even get hidden behind the canvas. So now if we don't change it, their visibility depends on the viewer's screen. So we have to fix it. To do this, select our icons, turn on the dynamic position, then left side of the screen, and now it should work fine. If we move the canvas now, they stay glued to the left edge. What's this thing? I just noticed that there's something wrong in our layers order. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drag the template, and now we're gonna drag it to the top, and everything should be fine now. Okay, now I think it's the time to publish our website and review all the things we've done today. So let's wait for the publication. And here it is. So let's check our pop-up window first. Gonna click on it. And now as you can see, we can open our window and close it by clicking X. Now let's check our interactive price list. As we click in different buttons, different options are being shown. Also, as you probably already noticed, our menu is following us when scrolling down and up the page. Also, when we scroll right to the top, it gets automatically hidden. Now let's go to the About Us page to see our expandable collapsible element. So we're gonna click here. As you can see, the bottom element is being pushed off. And if we click our button again, it moves up. Okay, now let's go to different subpage to see the Ken Burns effect. So now the image will be magnified and moved, so it creates some motion on our website. Then finally, let's go back to our home page to see our social media buttons. So when we scroll down the page, they stay right where we want them to be. Well, at least vertically, but now let's check their horizontal position for different RWD modes. And as you can see, resizing the website doesn't affect their position. They stay right at the left edge of our website. And it seems we have reached the end of this video. These were the examples of what you can do with your website in WebWave. So which feature do you like the most? Please let us know in the comments below. And as always, I hope that you learned something useful today, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!